but we're bringing a pretty cool car this morning. We've got the 22 Porsche 911 Targa 4 GTS. Made sure I said that in the right order. And we of course have Patrick manning the camera, and he's going to be answering or asking some questions that I will then answer for you. We have folks who have asked questions on Instagram. If you want to follow me there, it's at MilesPerHr, just like the name. And people also ask questions on the YouTube community page where I posed this last night. So Patrick, do we have anyone tuned in? First of all, thank you all for folks who are tuned in live. And I do want to thank two quick people. Juan Mata for rejoining as a MilesPerHr member, and also for Christopher Salyer, who just joined today as a MilesPerHr member. Guys, thank you so much. Your support really helps out the channel, helps me get new gear that I'm going to film with, like 360 cams and stuff like that. Yeah, just, I don't know, really gives me the thumbs up that you like what I'm doing. So, without further ado, folks tuned in live, what questions do we have?
All right, first one, well, Sparsh said, hello.
Hey, Sparsh.
First question from Instagram. How is the comfort for long periods of driving, Arthur?
Yeah, this person, sorry, we've got a lot of dumpster action going on over there. This person was asking about the long-term comfort, and I think that's where, like, this vehicle is very interesting because it is both the GTS version in that it's more enthusiast-oriented in the way that it drives, but it's also the Targa version, which is typically more of a GT spec. And so what they tried to do with this particular specification here is, first of all, they upgraded the seats from the standard Racetex material where they have like the Alcantara inserts in the seats to these full leather seats that have multi-weight power adjustment. They're really, really comfortable. And what's cool about the Targa is that it super cuts down on tons of wind noise. So it's basically what would be a T-top kind of setup, but with the very awesome glass canopy here. And so it cuts down on a lot of wind noise when you're driving. And so with the top down, it's still very quiet in the cabin. And with the top up, you only have this portion that would be a fabric cover. And even that cancels out a ton of wind noise. And so with the good ride quality of the Targa version doesn't get the helper springs and the lowered suspension that normal GTS versions of this car get. And so it actually rides softer than the GTS Coupe and GTS Convertible Cabriolet. So this is definitely, of the GTS models, the most comfort-oriented specification.
Little God Madden asks, what is the price?
So you can get into a GTS model for as cheap as $138,000. That's the coupe. If you want the Targa 4 GTS, that's $158,000. But this one, with just a couple options, is $173,000. It ain't cheap.
Another question from Instagram. Is there any storage underneath the glass roof like a shelf? Joshua asked.
Yeah, great question, Joshua. Yeah, so actually when the top is up, the portion where the fabric, you can maybe see it through the glass, where the fabric is being stored right now, that becomes a storage shelf. So when I raise the lid, I'll just do that for you just because it's so cool to see. With a lot of cars, it's like, hey, I want you to start it up and rev it. For this one, it's like, I want you to store the top. So let's do that.
Oh yeah, there's a storage.
Right, and so after that awesome conversion, probably the coolest conversion of any car on sale, you can see, I don't know, maybe back in here you can see either that or over through the glass.
Yeah, not really.
Now we've got a storage shelf here where you could put in a couple
Flexion
like
units.
low-profile duffel bags or like computer cases or anything like that. So you have that additional storage that you wouldn't normally have in both the convertible and the coupe.
Someone asked, are the wheels standard on?
Yes, these 20-inch blacked-out wheels are standard, or they're actually 21s in the rear, 20s in the front. Blacked-out wheels are standard, and what's cool about them is they've got center-locking caps.
Let's see. Let's see. Question. Tuxedo Black Cat asks, is it easy to drive?
Tuxedo Black Cat, thanks for waking up this morning and joining us. Yes, it's very easy to drive, super easy to modulate the twin-turbo motor in this one. And yeah, just driving around town is very simple. You've got different drive modes. You've got a Sport and a Sport Plus version mode, and those increase throttle response. But normally, just your driving around normal mode is very easy to drive.
Hamada said, "I love this car and it has a great handling."
Juan, thank you for joining and thank you for being a member.
Sparse asked, "What is it? Does it compete with?"
So this is an interesting model in that it's not a traditional convertible, and it has a 2+2 configuration. So it really has very few direct rivals, but I would kind of stack it up against things like the BMW M8 competition, so convertible competition, and that one's like $158,000. But that would be similar performance and similar kind of what people might be going for in terms of blending performance and comfort and style. That one, some people cross shop it with the Jaguar F-Type. People would cross shop it with even the new Corvette convertible. Even though that's much less expensive, it could be something that if people wanted that performance but they had a bigger budget, they might consider this alongside that. And what else? The Audi R8 convertible would be another one. Shockingly similar in price. It's like $160,000 for that one. Only a couple grand more expensive than the Targa version of this. So those would kind of be its cross-shopped vehicles, and only the M8 being the one that has an additional 2 seats in the back like this 911 Targa.
Little God Madden asked, "What is the top speed?"
Top speed of this is limited to 190 miles per hour. I think if you get the non-Targa GTS, the coupe, I think it's like 192. It's like a couple mile per hour more.
Another Instagram question. How loud and windy is the cabin at high speeds with the top up and down? Joshua asked.
Yeah, Joshua, good question. I mean, we kind of addressed that a little bit, just talking about how comfortable it is just around town. But yeah, when you have, because of the Targa setup and not having quite as much wind that's turbulent inside the cabin, because when the top's down, it's this portion that's out. It's very quiet with the top down, and with the top up, again, it only being this portion that's fabric and being very well insulated at that, it's super quiet. It's probably the quietest, yeah, I think it is the quietest convertible car, Targa, joining that category, convertible car I've ever driven.
Another Instagram question. Leo asked, "Is it worth the extra money over Carrera S, or should you just jump straight to the GT3 if you want the ultimate Porsche?"
Yeah, that's a great question. Leon asked that. Yeah, is it worth the extra money over a Carrera S? And I think it's like 15 grand across this. You know, the coupe is 15 grand more than the coupe coupe S. The cabriolet GTS is 50 grand more than the cabriolet of the S. And so across each segment, it's going to be a premium, but it's not quite as big of a premium as jumping into the GT3. So the GTS I mentioned of the coupe is about $138,000. The GT3, which is a coupe only vehicle, is $160,000. So it's an extra 22 grand more than the GTS version of the coupe. And what's really interesting about the GTS package, especially for the 22 model year, is that apart from the Targa model, which I just said doesn't have that lowered suspension and helper springs in the rear, the GTS is getting a lot of the best parts of the GT3, short of its naturally aspirated engine, that you would get in the GT3 car. And so you're getting good stuff, but it's still more comfort oriented. And especially if you wanted a cabriolet or you wanted a Targa, you can't get those in the GT3. You can only get them in the GTS. So you're adding in some of the performance stuff, rear axle steering, sport chrono, all that kind of stuff that you would get in a GT3, but it's available in a GTS model where you have more variation of body styles.
Tito Black Cat asked, "Does it come with remote start and also Bluetooth for any electronic device?"
It does have Bluetooth, and it has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but it does not have remote start. It's an interesting question because even though we live in a warmer climate here in California, I've been very into vehicles with remote start lately. It's just I've been like, wow, this is a super nice convenience, especially with a child, right? So even if it's chilly, if I can get the car warmed up by the time I get my daughter into the car, then it's a much nicer setup, and she's not complaining or being upset because it's too cold in the car. So remote start, I'm a big fan of, and I'm actually going to install it on my Land Cruiser. But no, it doesn't have remote start. It does have Bluetooth though.
The May Style asks, "Does it come in manual?"
Yes, the GTS does come in manual. You can get with a 7-speed manual. This one has the PDK dual clutch automatic. Show the profile of the vehicle a little bit, and then I'll put the top back down to see more of the profile with the top down. Do that, and then I'll start it up because I think we got to do that, right? You really have to close these doors.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh.
Yeah. Beautiful car.
What do we think of the GT silver paint, guys? Do you like this color? It's like $840 over the standard paint color options.
It does look heavy.
Yeah, it's 200 pounds. The glass canopy is 200 pounds. All right, we'll start it up. You ready? Soft limits you to 3,500 RPM. You're revving, so it can't get too loud, but it does have a sports exhaust, so it's a louder exhaust system than the standard Carrera S.
Little quad automatic, 0 to 60 times.
3.3 with the Targa. It's actually, I think, a tenth of a second or 2/10 quicker in the coupe. Yeah, 3.3 seconds. It's quick.
Porsche said it's probably got remote start in the Porsche app.
Oh, that's possible. Yeah, sorry, I kind of was just referring to the key fob. Yeah, that it may have remote start on the Porsche app. That's a great point. Thanks, Bart. A lot of vehicles are doing that now, where they're just like, you get kind of basic key fob, but then you can get access to an app feature, and you may have to pay for those app features and renew as a subscription.
I don't like that.
Patrick's upset about it.
Okay.
Oh yeah, because you have a Mercedes where you have to pay for.
Well, mine's free, but it's because the new tank I'm trying to get.
Oh,
remember I talked about?
the app, right?
I don't like it. Tuxedo Blacks, on a scale of 1 to 10, how dangerous or comfortable is it to drive?
1 to 10, I'll have to answer this question separately. How scale of 1 to 10 on comfort? I have to kind of bracket that as a sports car, right? Because I'm not going to compare this to an S-Class. But as a sports car, I'm going to say the scale of 1 to 10 on comfort level, even though it's a GTS model, the sportier version of this car, I'm going to say it's probably like an 8 or a 9. It's a really, really comfortable car as a sports car. In terms of danger, well, that's really up to you. It's up to you, and it's up to the people, I suppose, on the road around you. Anyone can do anything stupid on the road. And you can do anything stupid behind the wheel, but especially because it is the four-wheel drive version, the all-wheel drive version of the 911, you have to really be doing dumb things behind the wheel, which I do not recommend, and to get in trouble. Otherwise, you're going to be just fine. You can really approach this vehicle's performance easily.
All right, should we take the test drive?
Go for that? Yeah.
Because people are asking more
about
inside. Yeah, and inside too.
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
let's do interior as we like.
Okay.
Before we lead
Should
out.
we do that first?
Yeah, we'll do interior as we lead out to the drive. So, I mentioned that this one has the upgraded. Oh, the sun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mine's,
You want to do the other direction?
Yeah, mine.
Yeah. Okay. You're just trying to take for a drive, huh? Patrick just wants a driver's seat. I understand. So yeah, this has the upgraded leather seats over having just the Alcantara and the inserts, and they're a really cool shape because they're ergonomic, they're comfortable, but they also like hold you into place with these bolsters here. Both are power adjustable. You have the rear seats, but honestly, it's more of a shelf. There we go. It's more of a shelf. Like the legroom back here, that's my sitting position. I think it's like 6 feet tall. You have like 2 to 3 inches of legroom,
No way.
and so and the seat backs. This is the worst part. The seat backs are super far upright. You see it? It's
Straight
almost
up, yeah.
like completely 90-degree angle, and so no one's going to be very comfortable back there. Yeah, you can stick small kids back there for a short trip, but really it's for additional cargo space, and I suppose the insurance.
You know what's missing and stuff for amount of price?
What's that?
elbow man for Porsche.
Oh, having a Porsche?
Yeah,
You can
because I
pay for
mean,
that. You can
I
always
know,
pay for that.
but for what's worth.
No,
I mean,
I agree with you. You're spending 173 grand and you don't get the Porsche crest and the headrest.
All right, so there's a good question.
Yeah.
Seth. Do you feel Porsche should have different visual designs for the 911s trims across the base? The base Carrera looks the same as more expensive than 911 turbo.
More expensive like the turbo?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean it's a great question because Porsche doesn't you have to really be tapped into
Turn
what
it off.
Yeah, it's going on. You have to really be tapped into what you're looking at because that's a great point. The 911 models, short of, hey, this one has a convertible roof, a cabriolet, versus, hey, this one is the glass roof, it's a Targa, or you're looking at the coupe, there are not a lot of cues to distinguish the vehicles. If you look at them and you're like, wow, this thing is super wide, then you're probably looking at at least a 4 model, probably a turbo version. And there are little subtle details like having larger inlets, more cooling, more exhaust pipes, and sometimes a rear wing. But there's not a lot to distinguish the models in the same way that, like, well, for example, like an M car will go crazy with the front fascia and give all these huge inlets and all these different distinctions to tell you that you're looking at an M versus you're looking at a regular 3 Series. So, but that's kind of that's Porsche's style. They put all the effort into making it drive that much better, and so you'll definitely know when you're behind the wheel whether you're behind a GTS or an S or a turbo or a GT3. But yeah, visually not a lot to distinguish the models.
Tembo asks, does the top close or open while driving?
Yes, I think it's up to, it's gotta be like 30 miles per hour that you can make the top convert, and that says like how crazy strong these tops are engineered. Because, one, I just mentioned that the top adds 200 pounds to a regular Carrera. Add to that the force of wind, even at 30 miles per hour, the force of wind against these components, trying to lift it up and move it is nuts. What, you're laughing?
No, Tuxedo Black Cat said, horn test. Hopefully it doesn't sound like the Genesis G80 funny horn, but still respectful.
I feel it. That's funny because that's every time we've done the horn, it's like, oh, does it sound better than the G80? Because the G80 horn is like, bark. All right, I don't know if it'll do it with the car's off. It should, right?
No.
No, gotta do it.
Okay.
Okay, let's put an accessory mode at least. There we go. No, that's a fine horn. That sounds, I would get out of the way of that. I would get out of the way of that.
Let's see. Should we start driving?
Yeah, we need to drive.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I love the back, man. The back is my favorite.
Looks good, right?
Yeah. Especially with the, what is that? The tail lights or?
Oh, just the LEDs.
The clear ones?
The clear lenses, and then it's just connected across.
Yeah, that's at night. I've
Porsche
seen
all
them.
spelled out. Oh yeah. Yeah.
You doing a night one too?
Yeah, we're doing a night drive for sure.
Because the back looks insane.
Yeah,
man.
it's a great tie-in, Patrick. Like, I'm not gonna give. People are probably gonna ask like, would you choose this over this or this? I'm not gonna give my firm answers on that because I will do a POV drive review, and I'll give you the full competitive spread as they did before and say which one's best.
Can you see the engine, someone asked?
I mean, you can see the top of the engine if I do this, and then I think this has to come up. Did I actually pop it? There you go.
I didn't see anything.
Nothing happened. The top's supposed to come up, and I should be able to look at the engine, but it may not be able. I wonder if you could do it with the top down.
Okay.
It's supposed to come up.
All right. Well.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, you see the fans.
Yeah, so that's all that you can look at.
Okay.
You can see the fans, and that's interesting. Like, I didn't realize that would happen with the Targa version because the Cabriolet version, there's an engine cover that comes up, but this is all you can see. You can see the radiator fans. You can see where you'd add, coolant and oil, and is there a wiper fluid spot? There's got to be a wiper fluid spot that you can add, but that's it. That's all you can do.
Okay. All right, let's do this drive.
But I guess that's a cool way if you just want to see the top do that.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna look at the trunk.
It's quite quick for the top down
Considering
right?
it's
I
200
mean-
pounds, like considering it's 200 pounds, that's pretty quick.
All right.
Let's go
I
drive.
think I need to move my seat back.
Oh yeah.
I didn't need to start it.
Oh, it has a slide. So these
Oh,
are
okay.
interesting
All right.
seats because they slide manually, but then
they have.
but yeah, they adjust height and back.
All right. Sorry, guys.
Power.
Give me.
It'll be okay.
Okay. All right. All right. Hold on, guys. I'm trying to get adjusted. Maybe super close.
So we're starting with the top down. So you've asked about the wind noise. You'll be able to hear it for yourselves. It's really pretty good. And we're also in normal mode, just starting out.
Would you consider the Targa 4S more value for compared to the GTS?
Targa 4S, higher value than the GTS. Yeah, so I mean that kind of gets, and I don't want to give too much of this away. It gets at whether the having a GTS and a Targa mashed together makes sense. Because if not, then you could save the GTS money and just get the Targa 4S if the Targa is really what you're going for.
Mm-hmm.
If you really want the Targa look and that GT Grand Touring car ride quality, then yeah, you don't really need to spend the extra money on the GTS.
Oh, no one has asked that. Horsepower. Good
Yeah, the
question,
horsepower is
Kenny.
473 horsepower. Cannot remember the torque figure off the top of my head, I'm sorry. It's also in the 400s.
How's the driving position?
Really good. Like you can adjust these seats. I actually like that they slide manually instead of having power because it's a quicker adjustment. Same thing for the steering wheel. You can adjust the wheel really quickly
nice.
instead of it being a power rack. And that was actually a complaint I had on the M5 CS I was just driving. Like here's a very track dedicated car, but it's got a power steering wheel, so it just takes you all this time to adjust the wheel. If you're at the track, you're like, I want to make a quick adjustment. I don't want to sit here and wait.
Let me know about the wind noise, guys.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of buffeting that happens at like a very specific frequency of speed. But lower than that speed or higher than that speed, it's great. What do we think of the blue? I love this color as a leather, and it looks great with the silver.
It's like, see, you're funny today, man.
What do you say?
What cars can this Porsche be? Let me guess. Your average Camrys and Accords, like always?
Yes, you can always beat the Camrys and Accords. The 0 to 60 of this car is good at 3.3 seconds. It's not. Yeah, I think it's really better if I have the windows down a little bit.
Yeah.
So at 3.3 seconds, it's quicker than a lot of cars out there. It's not quite as quick as that M8 convertible competition. That's a 3 second 0 to 60. The Corvette convertible is like 2.9 to 3 seconds. What else did I mention? The Audi R8 is actually slower at 3.5 seconds, so this is quicker than the Audi R8 Spider, which is a very quick car.
Let's see.
I also love the, I mentioned the drive modes you can go through, but you also have the push to pass power of sport response. How cool does that sound, too? That sounds pretty nuts. And yes, it's a fast car. I think you can hear those turbos really well.
Does it bother you that the windshield's above your head?
That, like,
Can
it's
you feel it? Yeah.
that-
You feel like the wind hitting your head?
I can feel like a little wind in my hair, but it's actually great because it's not like turbulent noise or wind in my hair. So it's like, it's kind of the best situation. And of course, if you want more wind, you put the windows down completely.
Because someone's boyfriend is 6'2" and it reaches.
Oh, interesting. So
Yeah,
like his
so
head,
probably, yeah.
his head's up here. I think like that's going to be hard to find a car that has
That's your
even
size.
higher windshield at like 6'2". So that would be, that'd be tough. I can't think of a car that has a higher windshield and therefore you wouldn't get any wind in your hair. This is kind of like the perfect for me at 6 feet. It like, I get the top of the wind, but I don't, oh, this is cool. See this arrow spoiler that comes up?
I have that
It's just like up here. So it's just doing a little bit of that that airflow controlling.
Does it feel like it has more than 470 horsepower?
Certainly when you get on it from a dig, so we can do that. So we'll go to Sport Plus, and then launch control is just putting your foot on the brake and then gas.
Do you think Porsche should now break away from their conservative design from 911s and take their chance of redesigning it completely? Quick questions, man.
So like asking if they should
Change everything around.
So just do a completely new 911 or just a completely new car? Because I think
911.
I don't know. I don't. Like I think the 911 is an icon, and one, it would upset a lot of people, but two, it's just like I feel like that gives up on a lot of things. All right, launch control. Here we go. Yeah, that's quick. That's really quick. And it, I mean, to hold it at 4,000 RPM is pretty nuts. That is a fast launching car. And then, I mean, it's like, it's so cool though that I switch over to drive modes, I'm into normal mode, and like, I'm cruising. Like, it's super comfortable.
Porsche asked, what Maserati model does this compete to?
Maserati model? Yeah. Well, let's see, the Sport Turismo, I mean, yeah, what is that car? The Sport Turismo? Gran Turismo? Gran Turismo is no longer in production. So until it would be the Stradale MC, no, not the Stradale. What is that thing called? The new, yeah, it's MC6? What is that new model for Maserati? Even though that's only, it's not really a good competitor for this too though, because it's a much smaller car, only has one set of seats. I'm trying to think of whatever that Maserati model is called. I went and saw it in person.
MC20.
MC20, thank you. MC20. Thank you, Sparsh. Yeah, so the MC20 would be the competitor to this, but it's a smaller vehicle and it doesn't have the 2+2 setup.
Does it have real steering wheel?
A rear wheel steering?
Yeah.
Yes, it has rear wheel steering. It is an option. It's like a $2,000 option, but it does have that. Oh, you know what?
You can.
I guess you can't. I was wrong, guys. Hang on, I'm gonna pull over for a second. You cannot do the Targa top in motion. There we go. Now we're gonna finish the job.
Oh, okay. So
it's still strong and impressive. It's just not that impressive, I guess, that you can't do it in motion. That, or I wonder if you start the top while you're moving, if that makes a difference. So hang on, I want to see this. Could I put the Targa down while moving? Nope. Nope. Okay, so this, unlike the convertible, see, I was thinking of the Cabriolet. That's my bad. I was thinking of the Cabriolet where you can do it up to 31 miles per hour while moving, but the Targa top, I guess because it's so heavy, you have to be completely stationary to do that transformation. Okay, we learned something. But now how quiet is it in this car, right?
Super quiet.
It's just as quiet as the coupe now with the top up.
Alright. Actually, there is a question about the Cabriolet and stuff. It's from Devin. Why this over the Cabriolet?
I think just it's something about the wow factor, especially how the top converts and having the glass canopy. It looks that much cooler. It weighs that much more, and so if you want almost coupe levels of sportiness, of course you lose a little bit of structural integrity with the convertible, but you don't want the extra weight up high of the Targa. That's going to be your convertible, but it just doesn't look as good. The Cabriolet with the big hump in the back, and it just doesn't look nearly as cool as the Targa does. So that's why you'd go Targa, just for the looks.
Tuxedo Black Cat. What is miles per gallon, and is it good or awful?
It's 19 combined, and that's pretty good for the segment. I think there a lot of the vehicles it competes against get 17. I think only the Audi R8 gets or maybe that not even the R8. It's only one of the cars gets 19 combined, but this is like definitely at the highest end of its segment.
Let's see.
Starts
Dylan, hey Dylan, how are you doing, man?
Dylan, thanks for joining.
How's the Alcantara?
Alcantara on the steering wheel feels good. My issues always with Alcantara is, especially for a car that you're not going to just use it as a track car, so you don't just need that grip all the time, is that it just starts to wear out after like a year or two. I think I was in a Lamborghini Urus, and it had pilled, and it had only been like 5,000 miles. And so I was like, oh yeah, I don't know if Alcantara on a long-term commitment is right, especially for this vehicle being the Targa. If you're going to pay to option up the leather so you're not having Alcantara the seats, I would pay to option up having the steering wheel
That'll feel nice
in that same blue leather as the seats. I'm also a sucker for colored gauges, so I would want this to have like
a yellow,
like a not either yellow or like the white. I love the white gauges.
Porsche Cayenne Turbo GT coming soon, right?
Yeah, so I'm working on the GT2, I guess it's called, the Cayenne Turbo GT2, but they won't have that at least until later in this year, probably like March or April. I'm working on it, guys. I requested it. They said yes. We'll get you that.
Feels super quiet.
Yeah, it's super
Such a
quiet.
difference. I mean, for 200 pounds, I mean,
yeah,
it better.
It is well insulated.
Oh, how does it handle with the top open?
No different than with the top closed. It's
Okay.
going to handle the same. The thing you're dealing with is an extra 200 pounds of weight, and it is up high on the vehicle. So
Someone wanted to do the brake test.
Brake test. So we'll do brake test a little at this light here. Yeah, they're really good, and I didn't even dig hard into them. Yeah, those are good brakes. You get the upgraded brakes from the turbo on the GTS, and that's yet another thing that you're getting for your money compared to the Carrera S.
Dylan, manual or the PDK?
For me, it would always be manual. Like Porsche's manual gearbox is so good. Whether you get the GTS and therefore you have a 7-speed manual, or you get the GT3 and you have a 6-speed manual, both are fantastic transmissions. And so even though the PDK is among the best dual clutch automatics on sale, I would still go with the manual transmission. Does the manual transmission make as much sense in the Targa version of the GTS? No, not as much, but this is also, the Targa version is also not my preferred 911 for the extra cost.
Are you a fan of that?
The razor blade style.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna grab it and just trim up right here.
Surprised I was asked about that.
No, this like isn't as bad as the GTIs. Like the new GTIs is like even smaller and looks even stranger. But no, I don't really like this. It doesn't insult to me as much as it did when I first hopped in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that bad. But like, yet another reason to grab the manual. You get a more legit looking gearbox.
Oh, yeah. How much is it? How much is the car? 173.
Yeah, 173 as tested. It's a lot of coin.
I hate the razor blade. This one.
Yeah, the razor blade style shifter.
Yeah, Miles is 6 feet, right?
6 feet tall. And yeah, I mean, I feel really well. Like I still have headroom, and I don't know if my seat's slammed. No, it's not fully slammed, so I can slam the seat way more, and then look at all this headroom.
Oh, you have more room. Yep.
Tons of room in here.
Hello from Africa, North Africa.
North Africa, thank you for joining.
Okay. Do you think the newly launched Mercedes LS 53 and LL 63 can be cheaper and more competitive version of this Targa for GTS?
I mean the SL?
Yeah, the SL and
Okay.
then SL 63.
SL 53 and SL 63. Those would be, that's another car you can consider. I think don't the new SLs lose their rear seats? Pretty sure they give up their rear seats for this new generation, whereas the 911 still has them. But would they be good competitors? Yeah, to the Targa especially, because the Targa again being the more Grand Touring side of the 911 range, but they're still not going to be able to drive with the same level of precision as a 911 will. Porsche puts so much effort into the way the steering feels and how athletic the car is in a corner.
Tuxedo Black says torque is 420.
Torque is, thank you,
420,
Tuxedo, appreciate it.
And how does it feel over bumps?
Good. Yeah, so you can definitely feel that it's on a firmer suspension with the GTS, but it's really not bad, especially for what this car can do both in a corner.
Yeah, I really do love my Mercedes and stuff has the blue leather like that.
Blue leather, yeah.
With the
So
brown.
nice. So nice. Any other questions about either the Targa, just talking about the Targa version of the 911, or the GTS version, or this car being the combo of both?
Is there any new Land Rover models coming?
Well, there's the new Range Rover that was revealed that I got to see in person. That one it's going to be several months before there's a drive opportunity of that car, but hopefully I'll get to go on the drive launch of that one, and we'll get you guys some good content. Either way, when it's in the press fleet, I will make sure that I get you guys some drive videos of that one. There, no doubt, is going to be a new Range Rover Sport not long after this new full-size Range Rover is out. So probably a Sport in, I want to say it'll be revealed in maybe 9-10 months. I won't get to drive it for another year, but those are the two that I think people are most interested in right now.
Will you review the Tesla Cybertruck when it comes out? Or
I'll
are you
try.
not interested?
I'll try. No, I'm interested. I'll try. What I do know is that I'm going to get a chance to drive the new Rivian.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
I got to go see it in person and
Cool.
like poke around it like last week, and they're working on getting me a press vehicle.
Nice.
So we'll get a
That's
drive
cool.
of that, guys. But the Cybertruck, yeah, it's tough without a PR department for Tesla. I have to rely on owners who have the cars who want to let me drive them, and I don't know a ton of Tesla owners, so that's gonna be harder. But I think that's gonna do it.
Yeah. Any
Yeah.
more questions, guys, before we end it? Let's see.
Once
Is
again,
it worth the money?
wait for my drive review.
Okay.
Wait for my drive review for the finalized answer on that one. But once again, guys, this I will have a night drive. I'll have a drive review, and you've watched the live Q&A, and you can watch it again.
What do you think about the touch response of the infotainment system?
Yeah, the infotainment's good. I do think that it's got some sluggishness occasionally, and I do think that I want haptic feedback. Like you can, I mean, yeah, it's a Volkswagen Group vehicle, and you have Audis which have that capacitive touch or the haptic feedback, and you know that would make a great translation here to the Porsche communication system. But for the most part, its layout is fine, and it's totally easy to use, and it's pretty quick. I just think, yeah, haptic feedback would be really nice as less of a driver distraction while you're on the road. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching. Once again, watch those test drive or night drive and drive review videos when they come out in the next couple weeks. And thank you again to my MilesPerHr members, both on YouTube and Patreon, for supporting. I really appreciate it, guys.
Cool.
Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next time.